As a health and fitness professional over 15 plus years now, one of the most important skills that I have developed and worked on is my ability to actively listen to my clients and to those that I serve. And as I have progressed what I do day to day over the years, from working with clients to opening and building a business to mentoring and consulting with other coaches and health and fitness professionals in service-based businesses, I have continued to further develop that skill set and really recognized the gap in coaches' abilities to do this and the necessity to develop this skill in and of itself. And so I want to discuss today what active listening really is, what it means, how we can improve it. Because, as I say, it's a gap in, I believe, a large majority of health and fitness professionals and general service-based industries. It's a gap in their skill set. It's an area that needs to be worked on and developed more. And it's not that coaches don't have this ability, because most of the time coaches, health and fitness professionals, people in service-based industries, they have a general ability to do this and that's what kind of pulls them towards being in the industry that they are. However, to truly take themselves to another level, to truly see greater success in their profession as an individual, as a coach, as a health and fitness professional, this is an area that they can really double down on to achieve greater success. I attribute this skill of mine to a lot of the success that I've had over the years, more than the technical skills of training and programming and physiology and biomechanics. Those were all great skills to have, but they haven't necessarily provided me the ability to connect on a deeper level, to understand on a deeper level, to make progress on a deeper level with those that I served. It was active listening and that skill set and developing that truly moved that needle forward. So, what is active listening? What is active listening? So, active listening, simply put, is listening, the act of fully listening and focusing on the person speaking. Sounds pretty simple, sounds pretty straightforward, but it's more than just hearing the words that they are saying. This is where a lot of coaches go wrong, is they come to me with questions, struggles that they're having, situations that they're dealing with a client, and they describe the situation to me. And what I hear them telling me is the words that the person said. But they're not telling me what was behind those words. They're not telling me the emotions behind it. They're not telling me how that person was looking and feeling and portraying themselves when they were saying it. They're not telling me what led up to them stating this. They're not truly hearing what the person was saying. They're just, words are coming in, they're taking it at face value, and then they're going from there, and they're not sure why they're struggling to make the connections necessary to move forward or being able to solve the problem. And it's because it involves paying attention to things like nonverbal cues. Active listening is so intertwined with understanding nonverbal cues that people have, such as their body language, their tone of voice, not just the words that they're using. And it also involves really digging into further understanding, those notions of go on, tell me more, what else, like those types of follow-up questions that we're going to talk about today, that really peel back the layers even more for what that person is going through and how you are going to be able to help them. So that is in a nutshell what active listening is. Now, one of the ways that we can start to develop this skill is a bit of mindfulness of our own. One of the things of active listening, of course, is that we want to peel back some layers for the individual that we're trying to help. However, in order to do that fully, in order to do that effectively, we ourselves need to practice some mindfulness in the skill of being able to fully attend to and have attention on the present moment with that individual. I'm sure we all have lots going on, and I'm sure you have found yourself in moments where someone's talking and your mind is hearing them say stuff, but you're really not fully focused on what it is that they are saying to you. You're not connected with them fully. And so this is why practicing mindfulness and working on the skill of becoming more present in the moment so that you can hear more than the words that are coming out of their mouth, you're going to be able to better help that individual. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to practice mindfulness just with the individual themselves. This is a skill that you can practice outside of the interactions that you have with clients. You can improve your ability to focus and to truly listen to what others are saying outside of those sessions, outside of those interactions, just by being observant in your day-to-day actions and interactions. Simple things like when you're at the grocery store and you're paying at the checkout, become more present, acknowledge and be specific in how present and focused you are with the cashier. Listen to the words that they're saying. Listen to how they are asking you. Pay attention to any nonverbal cues that are happening. Like, become just really attentive to them as an individual. Be observant of your surroundings when you're in a store or out in public, right? Something that I always laugh about over the years that's occurred to me is on the more biomechanical front, is being a health and fitness professional, someone that has observed movement for so many years now. I naturally will observe people walking and just how they walk, how their gait is. But then this has now progressed to how people communicate and how they're speaking and what they're saying and the words that they use. And so this happens outside of sessions that I have with clients, where I just become more observant of people and the way that they are going about their day and how they're communicating within that. So again, in order to become better at active listening, we ourselves need to do some work in that we need to practice mindfulness ourselves and start within to make sure that we are prepared and present for the interactions that we are about to participate in and be active within. So once we are doing that, once we can practice mindfulness and start to develop that skill, then the next piece, which again is more of a self-reflective piece, is developing our skill of empathy. Now, for some of us, empathy comes a little more naturally, and frankly, this is where some of the best coaches lie within their ability to empathize. So those individuals that have a greater ability to empathize tend to have a greater skill set to interact with individuals, because they are already more connected with the nonverbal aspects of the communication, of the feelings the person is having, the emotions they're experiencing. So they already have a little bit of a step up that way. But regardless, it is something that you can still work on as a coach, as an individual, as a health and fitness professional, is being able to understand and feel what the person is experiencing. And this is even if you haven't gone through it yourself. Like, we may not have gone through all these experiences the person have. I know that I certainly haven't gone through, a quarter of what the clients I work with have experienced in their life. However, I'm able to empathize with it. And that is a skill set that I have discovered is one of my fortunate sort of ingrained traits of myself, but is also something that I have worked on over the years, in that I have been very cognizant of it and very aware of it and thoughtful of my interactions in that way to to hear and to connect with and to understand and acknowledge the individuals in front of me. And this has helped me build better trust and buy-in and connection with individuals, and it allows me to build that trust really quickly. And that allows me to have clients achieve success even quicker, which allows me to be more successful as a coach. So it really is all intertwined within this. So when I work with coaches, like, mentoring coaches on my team and in general, mentoring business owners, etc., it goes without saying that, like, this is a big part of what we talk about, and it's something that is often not fully respected right away. A lot of times when I work with coaches, at first they're thinking that the problem is they need to be better at the technical stuff, right? The nuts and bolts of training and of coaching, like programming and biomechanics and physiology and all that stuff, not recognizing that the importance of, and that they need to develop these human skills more than anything. They need to develop empathy and understanding of empathy. They need to have an understanding of, what this individual might be going through in a day-to-day life, and the emotions that are connected with that, and how they might be feeling coming into a session. All of these little nuancing factors. Similarly to when I'm working with a coach and helping them, I need to understand as their guide, what's going on in the industry, what challenges, that they are having that are unique to their specific job and what they're needing to do on a day-to-day basis. I need to be empathetic towards that. So I need to work on this skill myself. So again, these first couple things that I'm touching on for active listening are very much like internal work that we need to do, some skills that we really need to develop as individuals that not only help us in our profession, but help us in general in life, right? If you are able to become more mindful in the present moment and become more empathetic, you're going to enjoy more of what life has to give and more of the relationships and interactions that you have. So that's why empathy is such an important component of being a coach and active listening and getting better at it. Now, a layer of empathy that to practice the skill of empathy is for you to identify the emotions that the other person is expressing. And again, this can happen outside of sessions that you have. It can be in any interaction that you have, but identify the emotions in which they are having. And then reflect back on those emotions kind of in a non-judgmental way, like what is going on for them. So, it could be something like you saying, it sounds like you are feeling frustrated with the current state of your progress that you're making. Can you tell me more about that? And so this is going to help show that individual that you're listening to them, you're listening to their frustrations, you're listening to the challenges that they're facing, and that you care about them and what's going on with them. You're not just disregarding these frustrations that they're having. You're wanting to dig into that more and understand it on a deeper level. And that is just a very simple example. We can get even deeper with our empathy and the skill of empathy in working with individuals, where we'll start to recognize deeper emotions and deeper connections that they're going through, that we may be able to help sort of guide them through those weeds. So we need to ensure that we are practicing empathy and working on that skill. And this is going to be an essential component to our overall skill set of active listening. And then, like I just said at the end of that point, was the question that comes up, right? Can you tell me more about that? Go on, what else? Tell me more. These are really important guiding questions to utilize when practicing active listening, because part of active listening, of course, like I just said, is really hearing what they are expressing, not just the words, but the deeper emotion side to it. And in order to pull out more information, we need to ask the right question. We need to ask clarifying questions. We need to ask sort of layer questions, where by asking them, it starts to allow them to elaborate. So they express, some statement, some frustration, some emotion of something going on for themselves. And, my follow up might just be, go on, tell me more. Or how so? Or what else? And these are guiding questions to allow them the opportunity to elaborate more. And oftentimes I'll repeat those same questions 2 or 3 times to get further and further and further into what's going on in those emotions and in those feelings and in those statements that they have. And this allows me to get to the root of what is actually happening. So, an example of this, like we just used before, was they're feeling frustrated with their progress. So my question is, can you tell me more about that? And so they go on and they tell me that they just feel like they're not making the progress that they thought they'd be making by this point. And so my follow-up to that might just be, tell me more about that. Where does that come from? And so then, okay, let's dig in a little bit layer deep on that and go, this comes, well, I don't know. I feel like in the past I was able to make progress a little more quickly and blah, 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 blah. And so they go on. It's like, okay. And so tell me more about that experience that you had in the past when you did make progress seemingly quicker. So we go into that. So again, I'm able to peel back some layers by really listening to what they're saying, and I'm starting to be able to paint a picture of what they are experiencing and how they are feeling, so that then I can come with a possible better solution. Now, this doesn't mean that I'm always going to have a solution, but I might be able to come with a possible better solution or continue to ask questions that allow us collectively to get to a solution. So overall, active listening in and of itself is a crucial skill for anyone to develop, anyone to work on, especially for those that are in a service-based industry, a coach, a health and fitness professional, individuals working with other people. If you work with other individuals, other humans, then you need to develop the skill of active listening. It is something that will enhance the interactions that you have. It'll elevate the connections that you make, and it'll improve the progress that your clients achieve. And this is a skill that, again, I think is a little bit disregarded or not really thought about. Like I say, whenever I talk to work with coaches and I start to bring up communication and active listening and question asking and stuff, there's often a little bit of hesitancy I can feel. And I can acknowledge the hesitancy that they have around it, because they're thinking, I just need to get better at programming. I just need to get better at understanding movement. I just need to get better at assessing. I just need to get better at these nuts and bolts technical things. And I'm like, no, you just need to get better at listening. If you can get better at listening to your clients, then you are going to be able to solve their problems more effectively. You already have all the skill to do it, but you're just not listening effectively to what their needs are. So if you can start to empathize more, be more mindful and present in the moment, and ask better questions, you're going to be able to better understand the needs and the goals of your clients and provide them with the support that they need to succeed. Level up.